What is up, everybody? Welcome to another. What am I calling this? Okay, look. It's a Wingin' It podcast special. Okay, y'all know
Yeah,
how we do up in here. Andre, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I mean, just got well, I got some stuff to work on, and then they'll see in a couple weeks what the results of that is, because that's
Yeah,
already set in motion.
yeah. We have a special planned on you, planned for you lovely people. A couple of them actually, but here's the first special. So the first
Well,
special
this would
is
technically be the second, because this is a follow up.
yeah. This is a follow up to our Legend of Zelda series. Breakdown, wishful thinking, side story game, whatever you want to call it. Y'all know how we do up in here. So for this one, we're going to be looking at Ocarina of Time. Now, this is going to probably be broken up into two parts because what we want to talk about first is going to be two separate things that happen. There's a lot of stuff if you played Ocarina of Time and you've done like I'd say even if you only beat like done like half of the stuff in there, you still learn a lot about the lore from that game. So we're gonna talk about two things. I'm gonna take one, and Andre's gonna take another one.
Yeah,
And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna let Andre start off with this one. He's gonna cover the Sheikah betrayal. Now, in the game, if you hit, and I can't remember which Sheikah stone it is, so forgive me on that. But one of the Sheikah stones, I want to say around the castle, they give you a hint about a Sheikah that betrayed the royal family, which is why they added a tear to the eye,
actually, no, the royal family betraying them.
betraying them,
Yeah.
and they had that's why they added a single tear to the eye. I can't remember which one it is, but I know it's somewhere around the castle.
hmm
So you just have to.
I'm think I want to say it's one of the ones that's outside the chapel.
It may be, yeah. So just where the if you have the game on 3DS or you have the game on your Wii U or Virtual Console or whatever, get the Sheikah mask as a kid and go. Yeah, go to the castle, go to the temple right outside the castle, and you should see three Sheikah stones side by side. I think it's the middle one.
Yeah,
Just
it
where,
might be. Yeah, I think it is, and it's the because it's called the Mask of Truth, but it's
yeah,
still Sheikah based.
yeah. So, without any further interruptions from me, Andre, have at it.
Well, I've already kind of done this before a while ago. I already talked about how I would envision something like this going. I mean, because Nintendo has laid so many seeds with this series, there's a number of different ways that these stories can go, but there's always little interesting tidbits they never really show us. And finding out who in the Hylian royal family betrayed the Sheikah, as well as how that went down, would be awesome. And the Sheikah are they're basically ninjas or assassins, whatever you want, whatever role you want to put them in. They're the hidden bodyguards of the royal family, mostly utilized to protect the new Zelda in the family, whoever runs that lineage. But there's always more to them because there's more than just Impa running around. Because we know that there's more than Impa. Impa is just like one of the top ranked Sheikah that you can find or see. And I always sit there and wonder, like, how did that happen? Who did it? Why did they do it in the first place? Because the Sheikah had always been loyal to the royal family. And during that betrayal period, I believe that they had split off from them. And that's one of the reasons the Yiga clan was created, because the Yiga broke off from the Sheikah. And I'm going to assume that that was an internal argument where certain members of the Sheikah wanted to patch things up and other members didn't. And the members that didn't broke off became the Yiga clan. Same, they all had the same prowess, same capabilities. Though I think those who remained as part of the Sheikah are probably higher tier in capability, but that's my own assumption.
With the
But this
backing of
type
the royal family.
of yeah,
Mm.
but this type of game, and people have made the comparisons before, is to go ahead and say take something like Assassin's Creed, and do that gameplay style, but place it in Hyrule, and I would be all for that because you can also figure out utilizing this game, figure out why the Sheikah hid so many relics, because that was part of what they did. They hid a lot of the royal relics that Link ends up getting later on, because they didn't just appear where they were.
Yeah, yeah. It didn't
So
work like that.
they hid a lot of their relics. So I would say, firstly, you get the story as to why these relics were separated and hidden. You get the reason as to why the royal family or whoever was in the royal family betrayed the Sheikah. And this all had to have happened before Ocarina of Time because we know that the stones of truth or the Sheikah stones only got those tears after that betrayal.
Yeah.
And those tears are present in Ocarina of Time. So I would love to see that combat system thrown into the world of Legend of Zelda and actually expand on areas like, the castle town, expand on the stuff that happens in the castle so you can actually get a full layout of these places. Like base them on Ocarina of Time of that design philosophy for those games, but have it set up so that you can see how they got around, how they dealt with certain issues because there's let's be honest, not everybody was peaceful in Hyrule, and you know that Sheikah were again the right hand to the royal family for a good period. So I would say that this game would start off with you, and they wouldn't have to name a specific character. You wouldn't even have to be someone like Impa. Impa could still exist and just be a separate character, and they could do a custom character system so that this character is an unknown that you're playing with. Just do a whole custom built character, flesh the story out from there, like because you don't know who it was, and they don't necessarily have to have any significance to what Link does outside of just they're another Sheikah.
Yeah. They're just part of the clan.
Yeah, because it just doesn't make much sense to put a special name or face to it unless they want to involve this character further into stories in Zelda.
Yeah.
But
And
that
from what you get of the Sheikah clan, it's kind
they,
of like the only one they really want to talk about is Impa.
yeah, because
They don't want to talk about nobody else.
Impa is basically the face of the
Yeah.
clan.
Yeah. Everybody else got to do ninja stuff, so you don't
Yeah.
need to know who they are.
And we know Impa can do it, but
Yeah.
Impa don't gotta hide from you. She can do it right in front of your face.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
She'll do it in front of you, and you ain't know what happened until it's already over. So I
Like,
mean,
why am I at the gates of hell? Okay.
like, why is the world? Oh,
Oh, okay. Well,
that explains that.
yep.
But, but the betrayal of the Hylian family could explain why the Yiga clan broke off and became what they were, and why they constantly attack Hyrule.
Yeah.
There's a lot of plot points and threads that come off of that they could roll with, and it would be interesting to me honestly. I would love to play that story, and then if they could set it up where you could play, if they did do a custom character where you could play either side, where you could play up to the betrayal, and then you could choose to break off and be part of the Yiga clan, or you could stay loyal to Hyrule and be part of the Sheikah, and then play the rest of the missions from there.
Okay.
Again, it would be up to them to do it. I mean, I could work with them on the story, but
So for this one,
think
let me.
they I don't think they listen to me.
So they probably already got the game already done. We're just messing around right now. You know how your videos usually go. So, so my question for you is, so how would you have it? Would you have it like a 30 to like or 20 to 40 hour game like the normal RPGs of the 80s? I mean 80s and 90s, the action RPGs, action adventure games like 20
Yeah,
to 40 hours depending.
yeah, I think
You know,
that'd be fair. I mean, 20 to 40 hours. I say yeah, 20 to 40 hours.
'cause we don't
20
need like no 100 hour game for this.
No, 20 about 20 to 25 hours if you just play straight through the story, like maybe 40 to 50 if you do all the side quest type stuff,
Okay.
depending on which side you play. And
Now,
then replay value for New Game Plus. So
uh, any multiple endings like ending for the Yiga clan, ending for Sheikah?
yeah, I'd say have two endings for both clans, where you can have one ending where you play straight through the Yiga clan and maybe you betray them at the end, or one where you stick with them at the end. And then the same thing for the Sheikah.
With Sheikah, okay.
That
All
way
right.
you'll have four definitive endings.
Okay. And all right. So, because people are gonna say, "Well, this is a Legend of Zelda game. I don't understand why Zelda ain't in it." So, do you have Zelda telling Link the story of this, and that's how you cutscene it out, fade to
I'd
black?
say yeah. I'd say because you could always make it seem like she kind of spent some extra time with him once he got to the castle and he made it to her garden and talked to her,
Yeah.
the courtyard. I mean,
Yeah.
you could
It
always
just
make it something like that. Or if it's not him she's talking to, because we know Zelda
She did.
was supposed to be a person of the people, you could always say she was doing some sort of volunteer work and talking
Yeah.
to children of Hyrule about it because she knows she's a princess
Or
and
she could
she
have.
has abilities.
Oh, you know what? Because remember in the
Or you can even have Impa telling Zelda the story.
yeah, you can have Impa telling Zelda story, or you can have it where she's explaining to her dad why he shouldn't be trusting Ganon. Because
Mm-hmm.
remember, before she met Link, she had kept trying to talk to her dad, and he wouldn't listen to her
He wasn't.
at
He was
all.
to her.
Which is why he got what he got. West Coast. So what man he had to get dealt with.
I mean, based on Wind Waker, he did become the king of lions. So, but that was his fault. That was
Yeah,
fully his fault. He got disembodied and became a boat.
yeah. That's pretty much how that worked. Oh boy, gotta love Ganondorf.
Oh,
Segway. So the game I would like to talk about is the thread I would like to take is we never seen anything from Ganondorf's point of view. Well, Wind Waker kind of went and gave you kind of fleshed him out a little bit because let's be honest, Ocarina of Time, he was just a big bad.
mm.
He was just trying to take over Hyrule. We get it.
We
Let's go
weren't
get
given his reasoning.
yeah. We weren't giving his side of the story because honestly, he's a guy wearing a cape playing an organ at the end of the game. If that don't spell evil for you, I don't know what it does.
Plus there was so much other stuff packed into that game. I don't know if they really had time to really
Yeah,
think about his particular side of the story.
but Wind Waker did do a good job of actually fleshing out Ganon to the point where you're like, I don't think he all the way wrong, you know.
Maybe
And
not.
some of them Hylian people, uh, yeah, y'all know where y'all can go and what y'all can kiss. But my thing is, I would love to see a game basically taking place while he's being trained as a young sorcerer slash master swordsman because yes, the Gerudo only gave birth to one man every 100 years. I'd hate to be Ganondorf's dad. I really would. But and he had to be made king. So we know that he wasn't always a power hungry, crazed individual that just wanted to kill everybody. We know he was ruling his people. Now his people lived out in the desert, which pretty much means their life was not easy. It was harsh. It was rough. He had already came to Hyrule on a number of occasions anyway because he is a king. So you got to imagine him coming into Hyrule and it looks all nice and pretty. You know, the yard was cut. You got the flowers growing. you know,
They got water.
they got water. Yeah, like damn, that's a lot of clear water. I thought that was just straight up brick. So, you know, he's saying all this stuff, and he's like, okay, man, let me try to work with these people. You know, and let y'all help me, I help y'all. And the king pretty much like, man, I'm better than you. I'm sorry, what the hell you just said to me? Hence, you know, we start seeing him getting treated like he's not, like he's less than.
Hmm.
And you can start seeing that, you know, that progression of, okay, hold on, man. I'm better at magic than you. I'm better at swordplay than you. My crew can take your best men. How you gonna sit up there and try to say I'm less than you do? We equals. I can see how it could get to where, okay, all right, man, I need to take these people over because one, my people are suffering. They got it good, and I'm tired of coming up here and he's sitting up here straight disrespecting me to my face.
Hmm.
So I would love to see the culmination of that. Plus, it doesn't help that he got raised by two witches.
Twin Rover.
Yeah, Twin Rover. They are the ones that actually raised him. So I can see something where he started out like, okay, he's not fully bad, but he can see
Over
it. Then
time.
over time, and then you have Twin Rover like in his ear saying, "See, this how they treating you. See, this how they treating us. See how they see you. They made you stay out here where it's harsh. You're stronger than them." And we can go into that now. Me personally, I would like to have it like a side-scrolling game, probably with like action RPG elements to it. Uh, kind of. Don't want to say Streets of Rage ish, but you get the point because, like I said, in the in the Ocarina of Time series, not only is Ganondorf a master swordsman, he is a master sorcerer as well. So you could have him do stuff where he has to fight out in the desert colossus. He has to fight out in the spirit temple. He has to fight through the. You can actually do like some different elements of the game to where like he has to go through the haunted wastes as part of his training. You
Hmm.
know, he has to take on the Helmorite King. He has to take on like the Lizalfo, stuff like that. Have him doing stuff in there, and then you can have it ended with him doing the very first attack where Link's mother and father get killed, and have Link's mother mortally wounded trying to make it to the forest. That's
Hmm.
how I would end it with him, because he gets turned back in that battle. In that battle, he actually gets turned back to the desert, and that's when like 10 years later he comes back to Hyrule to kind of like try to patch things up, even though he really wasn't trying to patch things up. He was trying to get information on that ocarina and where that door to the sacred realm was,
Yeah.
because he
Or
was trying.
they could even just leave it like he came in as a masked mercenary and nobody knew who he was. They could
Yeah,
always leave it at that too.
they could always leave it at that, but for me, I think it's one of those situations, especially like wanting to see the character like grow a little bit, because you get to see him. Because the thing is, we don't get to play as him, and I don't actually look at Ganondorf as a bad guy anymore. I kind of look at him. He's the third piece of the Triforce. The,
Yeah.
the the series revolves around Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf, and it's gonna have to stay that way until they decide to bring Demise back up as the main villain, as he should be. I digress.
Essentially, since the Triforce is a holy relic
Yeah,
in and of itself, Ganon can't fully be a bad guy. He can be directed that way, and the story in Ocarina could prove that, where he started off with good intentions, and it's just as time went on,
he just
and
kept
he
getting
saw how
pushed.
he's just
Yeah,
kept getting pushed to a certain direction, and he finally accepted that direction and went with it. Which then we could see hit that how he turned selfish, and all his people still got left out in the desert and everything because he didn't at that point he obtained power and became greedy.
yeah, and that
So
and that would actually go into like Naboru, who basically like, dude, you didn't change, man. I can't follow you. You started killing women and children, which she actually says in Ocarina. He's like, no,
yeah,
he started doing stuff that we ain't supposed to do. We just stole from the rich. We didn't kill everybody. He started killing people. So
actually, now I'm thinking about it, if they were to do something like this, remember the original 2D Prince of Persia games?
yeah,
Do it like that,
do it like that. Yeah,
because that could still employ the exploration. You could still have the different temples and things, and you can still have it side scrolling. And they can still have the RPG elements where Ganon can upgrade his magic and he can upgrade his skills and stuff like that.
mm,
And it could still be very intricate and still reflect how the temples and things look in Ocarina, but not be exactly the same.
yeah, because it would be like from a time before Link actually has to go and do what he has to do.
Yeah, because well, you
So
got to think at some point Ganon had to have done some of this stuff himself.
yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying. Like, especially like with the haunted waste and the spirit colossus, there's in the spirit temple. There's no way he didn't go through that.
mm,
There's no way, because yeah, there's no way he didn't go through that temple. There's no way he didn't master that stuff. So in my opinion, just thinking about it, it would be interesting if we do that. Now, for me, I don't need like a full 30-40 hour game for this, because I don't want it to be like a full on, you know, action adventure 500-hour game. To me, this tells just a straight up story. So
mm,
probably anywhere between, and I know I said side scrolling kind of like action adventure. So if I'm being, you know, fair, I would say anywhere between 16 to like 25 hours. Have some side quests in there, but nothing like where it's gonna take 2 hours to complete a side
yeah,
quest. Have them like,
nothing that
yeah,
diverges too far from the story.
yeah. Because once again, this would be like a budget thing, but it would be done in the Ocarina of Time style. Matter of fact, if you could get the Smash Brothers
Subspace
Ultimate,
Emissary.
not Subspace Emissary, on the Smash Bros. Ultimate, the
Oh,
classic
the
path for
engines.
Link,
Mm.
it ends with like a their version of the Ganon versus Link fight from
Oh, okay.
Ocarina of Time. If you can
Actually, yeah,
get
they could
them,
just use that engine to do it. To
yeah,
be honest.
yeah, because that engine can still be worked as a like Subspace Emissary was,
Hmm.
and you could do it like that. So that's what I'm saying. Like it can, I think it can work to both. Um, I think you can work it either way, you know. But yeah, I would like to see that just because we don't get enough time with Ganondorf, and after Wind Waker, it's hard for me to see him as a truly evil person when you like, nah, man, he a king, and a king has to make tough decisions, and I can see him having to be like, look, I got people to protect, and y'all got it good, and you ain't trying to work with me, and plus you pretty much disrespecting me to my face.
Hmm.
So we just gonna have to handle this. And I can see him finding out about the Triforce and saying, okay, I need something to augment my power because I tried to do this the first time. It didn't go well. So let me ingratiate myself.
Yeah, but
Say
he didn't touch the power of the Triforce until after Link opened the
yeah,
door to the Sacred
yeah,
Realm.
yeah. And he messed around and killed his the thieves that was with him.
Hmm.
So because that's another part of the story that I actually like because they talk about how he touched it with his blood soaked hands,
Hmm.
and that's why he like when he gets beat or he loses control of the Triforce of Power, he turns into a pig, which I thought was actually like okay, that's a giant demonic pig, bacon. So but yeah, that
Giant demonic bacon.
yeah, giant demonic bacon with giant demonic syrup. I mean uh yeah so hey look man, I'm from Georgia. From Georgia. Enough said. So
Oh, man.
but being honest, that's what I would like to see from a game series if they were gonna like do a little spin-off. And when we first heard about this from Al Newman, I want to say like what it was like 2-3 years ago when he was like he wanted to do Zelda every year. I never thought he meant like a mainline Zelda game every year.
Nah, I was thinking they were going to do side stories and just like fill in little
You know,
gaps in the lore because that would make a lot of sense to do.
yeah, especially since and the other thing too, when you have Hyrule Warriors, yes, they said that this is not canon, but the
I'm
problem
sorry,
is,
that game fits in too many
yeah,
holes.
it fits holes because of one character. It's just one character that makes everything make sense. So, and she can show up throughout any of the side stuff
Hmm.
because she knows what's going on. She looked at all of it. She already knows how Link's story and Ganon and Zelda's story ends. She already knows it. She knows how it begins. She knows how it ends. So the thing is, you can easily branch off and do whatever they need to, which is why I think, like, especially like, I would love to see a game on the Sheikah Betrayal just because it was so prominent and they kept. It was kind of like every time you saw a Sheikah stone or something like that, it kept giving you out another nugget, and you're like, okay, well, because even one of the stones in Ocarina of Time told you that like uh the Gerudo are full of women and they have to come to Hyrule Castletown to get boyfriends
Hmm.
because they need to get pregnant. They were
Yep.
taking the PG way around it, but you know why they was coming.
Hmm.
that that was
They was coming, smacking them over the head, hauling them off. We know.
haul them off, and once they got through with them, they smack them over the head or kill them and send them
Smack.
back.
Look, once they got done with them, smack them over the head and take them back, or slit their throat. I
Yeah,
mean, one of the
whichever
two.
came first. Yeah, whichever came first.
Look, if they resisted, we know what happened.
Yeah, let's just say they didn't make it out. They didn't make it out the camp.
Hmm.
That was one of the best nights of their life that they ever had, and they never had another night of life again. So,
Just like them carpenters was going to. I mean, we
oh,
know what was going to happen to them.
oh yeah, them carpenters,
If
they were about to die. So,
look,
but
if Link didn't prove himself to be man enough to fight through fight through their little
compound,
fort. Mm.
yeah, it was gonna be, yeah, game, set, and match for the carpenters. So, but yeah, leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think. What would you like to see if you know anything about the lore of Zelda? What would you like to see game wise? And we got another one of these. This is probably going to be about two or three more in this little series because there's one more thing I want to talk about from Ocarina of Time, but I got to do a little bit more research on it because I know about it, but I don't know the main players in it. And that's the whole thing with Bongo Bongo and that damn the horror stage, the Resident Evil stage of Ocarina of Time. Am I
Oh man,
lying? Am I lying?
I look. LinkedIn seen some things that would make even the most hardened people crap their pants. So I mean, I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, it,
When you look at it in when you looked at it on the 64 and those weird looking polygons, maybe wasn't so scary. But if you think about it, you put yourself in that position, in that world, and you're
as a
linked.
10-year-old, as a 10-year-old,
As a 10-year-old boy, you got to look at this monster crawling around, slithering to you with no hands here, but it can touch you from anywhere in the room.
and the
I,
door locked.
and door locked. You got to fight this thing. You can't run.
Mm-mm.
You are locked in there until it is dead.
Preferably by decapitation. And he likes to gnaw on your head.
Mm-hmm.
Death head, people. So yeah.
That still doesn't even cover the what's the things that wear the little mask with the three holes, the ones that like to hug you.
Oh, them.
that don't even. Oh gosh, man,
Yeah.
you think about some of the stuff that's in. Uh,
And this game got an E10 for everyone. So yeah, that yeah, there was some issues with certain parts of that game. Some serious issues when you go back and think about it now. I mean,
Back
personally,
then, you were just playing it and just playing
yeah,
it to have fun. But back then, but you think about it now, you're like, man, this boy done suffered some horrors.
yeah. I mean,
He
I
didn't.
was at one point I was expecting Ada Wong to show up in an evening gown. At one point. Hey, look, the Shadow Temple. If you played through the Shadow Temple of Ocarina of Time, you know exactly what part I'm talking about. You expecting her to show up with a rocket launcher in an evening gown, with acting like she about to go to the AMAs afterwards. Not to hit the red carpet afterwards. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't you love how I just mashed Resident Evil with Legend of Zelda? Don't you just love how it goes perfectly together?
Certain parts, yeah, certain parts definitely.
So yeah, I know this was a little bit short of an episode, but these are gonna probably be a little bit short. These little special episodes, just so you guys know. So we're gonna be tackling Bongo Bongo next. Don't forget to watch the Winging It podcast Sundays at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, mostly.
Mostly.
But like I said, we do have a couple specials lined up in the next couple weeks. So check us out. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, all the other good stuff. And we will see you guys on our next vid. Wakanda forever. Peace out.
Peace out. Oh man.